The Montreal Massacre is in commemoration of a tragic event that occurred 20 years ago. It inspired the White Ribbon Campaign that aims to stop violence against women. In case you missed out on participating on the events, we have the coverage for you now.
Today in the atrium there will be a memorial for the Montreal Massacre, an incident that happened 20 years ago where an armed gunman broke into L'École Polytechnique in Montreal and killed 14 young women in university who were attending the school. So today the Women's Issues Network is putting on one of the memorials that you'll see around campus. So let's take a look at that.
On December 6, 1989, while attending a fourth-year engineering class at l'École Polytechnique de Montréal, 9 women were separated from approximately 50 male classmates on the direction of one man who was a stranger to them all, carrying a semi-automatic rifle. The armed stranger informed the women that he was fighting feminism. One woman stepped forward in defense of her classmates and herself, explaining that they were not all necessarily feminists, just women working towards a degree in engineering. She and 3 others were wounded when the man shot at the women, killing 6 of them. The man left that classroom and proceeded into the school. He wounded several students, men and women, though only men standing with women were injured. He shot and killed 1 woman standing in line at the cafeteria, 2 more that he found hiding in a storage closet, and another on an escalator before he entered a classroom where, while wounding many, he killed 2 women trying to escape and 1 more who stayed in her seat. Finally, when a woman he wounded on the way in pleaded for help, he drew a large hunting knife and proceeded to stab her until she was dead. This man did not live to see the consequence of this unspeakable rampage, as he then turned his gun on himself. He did not offer any more explanation for the heinous murders than the words he spoke to the first 9 victims and a letter he carried in his pocket. Translated from the original French, it read, "I have decided to send the feminists who have always ruined my life to their master. The feminists have always enraged me. They want to keep the advantages of women while seizing for themselves those of men." From his words, it seems impossible to discern any motive aside from hatred of those women who were succeeding where he had failed. This man had applied to their school but was not accepted. He viciously murdered 14 women because he was sick and disturbed, but also because they were women, because they were successful women, because they were women succeeding in an area from which their foremothers had been strictly precluded. On a personal level, the family and loved ones of the 14 victims lost their promising young women. Nationally, Canadians were faced with the fact that even in quiet, polite, unassuming Canada, there lurks potential for indescribable violence. Symbolically, women emerging from centuries of being told no were told yes, but you had better be prepared to pay. There is no question that the heartbreak that is the Montreal Massacre is reflected in the many mass shootings that have happened before and since December 6, 1989. There is no question that the event is a national tragedy and a crime against all Canadians. There is also no question that the act was committed specifically against women. And while it was perpetrated by a deranged man who could have chosen any group to slaughter, the fact is that our society allowed him to think that successful, pioneering women were depriving him of personal achievement. That women who dared venture from the home were advantageously usurping the potential of men. That women's contribution to society was a threat to that of men. Our society allowed this man to believe these things with such ferocity that he violently stole the potential, contributions, futures, and lives of 14 women, both from them and from us. He was allowed to hate them. 20 years later, and the hatred has not ceased.
is the memorial? What is remembering the events of 20 years ago mean to you?
It's so hard to put it into words. It happens behind closed doors so much, and that it exploded in this way is really just a symptom of continued oppression and violence against women in our society. And so personally, the ability to stand up in front of people and publicly demand better for women and publicly say that we aren't going to accept this is just so empowering and so important.
For more information on the Women's Issues Network and the types of events that they have throughout the year and the types of help that they offer to women, you can find them on the USC's website. Just follow the links to services and to the Women's Issues Network. For TVWestern.ca, I'm Kim Chatterley.